Introduced from the Knoll by Alan Wilkins.
Welcome to the Knoll, home of arguably the most outstanding club side in Welsh rugby, and what an historic occasion it is for Neath and their thousands of loyal supporters today. The first time in their history that Neath alone have faced the New Zealand All Blacks. Well, good afternoon. Yes, what a prospect we have. Neath, the world record holders in tries and points last season, against the All Black side, which is looking for its 37th consecutive match without defeat. Well, I'm pleased to introduce to you now someone who's followed this New Zealand tour from its first match in Canada against British Columbia. Keith Quinn, rugby commentator for Television New Zealand. Damp Neath today, but how are these conditions going to suit the New Zealand tourists?
Oh no, we'll be at home in these conditions, Alan. Our winters are sometimes quite severe, and particularly the players from the South Island, Andy Earle and Paul Henderson from Canterbury and Otago, those sort of guys, they'll feel quite at home. They have soft dish grounds down there in the winter conditions. I
noticed one or two of the players went out first to check the studs. They seem pretty happy. How are things going with them?
Well, they're going pretty well. It's an interesting team they've put in today, with a hint that it's going to be perhaps some of these players getting through to the test selection because of injuries. Tuigamala and Botica and Walter Little may get through, and a number of players forcing very hard in the forwards as well. It's a very interesting side that Alex Wiley's put out, knowing that this is such a tough game today.
It's a Wednesday game, Keith, as you say, but it doesn't have a Wednesday look about it, does it?
Well, no. This was the team that played so well, mostly, against Pontypool, and that's been the best back player of the tour. And I guess they'd like to say that they'd do as well today, but maybe the conditions won't be in favour of such good back play today. But it's a strong-looking All Black team.
Keith, you're close to the side as far as your duties for TVNZ are concerned. What's the news on Grant Fox? We know that Kerwin is out for the tour. What about Fox?
Yeah, Kerwin is out for the whole tour. Fox is looking good. I think he should be right for Saturday, so the Neath, look out for him. But yes, that's been the problem. Fox is okay, Kerwin's gone. Alan Wetton's a worry too.
Well, Keith, I know that you've got commentary duties to do for TVNZ. Off you go. The music's playing. Enjoy the match. Well, what a prospect it is, as we say, Neath against the New Zealand All Blacks. Incidentally, Neath are not playing in their regular All Black kit today. They're using an All Black jersey, which is very different for their loyal supporters. A collector's item, perhaps, who knows? It could well be a collector's item this afternoon. What a day it is. The atmosphere that's building inside here at the Knoll this afternoon is something that's quite special. The Neath team and their local supporters have waited a long, long time for this, over 118 years. And now let's join Phil Bennett in the commentary box with our match commentator, Lynn Davis.
Thank you, Alan. 10,000 spectators is the expected audience here in a stadium far smaller and compact than the previous three venues. You can imagine then that the atmosphere and the feeling of tension here is that much more intense. When both teams emerge into the limelight, then for them the main priority will be to avoid being overwhelmed and to make sure that their heads are clear. Phil Bennett, it's the fourth match of the tour, and I have a feeling that the sense of anticipation is ever increasing.
Yes, you're quite really, and after that outstanding match at St Helens last Saturday, where Swansea played magnificently well to push the All Blacks to the limit, so I think the Welsh public are now beginning to ask themselves, can Neath go one better and beat New Zealand? Certainly there's a magnificent crowd here. The atmosphere is electric. I can't wait for the kick-off.
Well, we'll come back to you in a minute, Phil. Let's first of all, though, take a look at how both teams line up. And first of all, the 15 that will represent the local hopes. That young but powerful and athletic pack, the front row so characteristic of the whole Neath philosophy. And at 7, Martin Morris is selected ahead of another ex-international in David Pickering. A fast maturing half-back partnership, a try-scoring three-quarter line, and of course a points machine in the shape of Paul Thorburn at full-back, and all captained by hooker Kevin Phillips. And neither he nor his team will want to disappoint the ardent Neath fans here. The tourists then, and that pack, a mirror image of Neath's, in fact, powerful and athletic, the likes of McDowell, Fitzpatrick, Wetton and Brooke, perfect examples of the modern forward. Botica, again at outside half, thrustful three-quarters, and in Gallagher, one of the world's leading fullbacks. A team for the second time on tour, captained by Gary Wetton. and one or two New Zealanders in the crowd, and they will think nothing of conditions here compared to the likes of Wellington, Dunedin, and Invercargill. This is mild stuff. Phil Bennett, I've just thought that you would have played so many times here. What sort of feelings will be running through the All Black minds now as they know that they look at that notice in the changing room, this is the All Blacks. So what will be going through their minds?
Yes, it's the first time that they will have played on this tour with the crowd bearing right down on top of them. As I said earlier, the atmosphere is absolutely electric. I played here for 16 seasons, you know, and I must admit I never enjoyed one game on the park there.
And TV New Zealand joining us live. There you see the New Zealand flag just above that of the local heroes here, the Neath Rugby Club. And as Alan Wilkins said, they won't be playing in the traditional All Black jersey, and it avoids that old confrontation of the All Black against the All Black, as we wait now for the emergence of the two teams. Lots of Kiwis in the crowd, of course. Well, that's a change from the usual routine, Phil Bennett. It spares the players from having to stand around. It's quite cold, and I would suppose they'd be glad of that extra few minutes or so back in the changing room.
They might well be, but, you know, I looked at the Swansea team on Saturday, and when the anthem was being played, there were tears in their eyes, and they really stoked themselves up. I'm not saying the players aren't stoked up, but as a Welshman, I'd have loved to see the Neath side stand there and acknowledge their anthem. But as you're right, it's a cold, wet day, and I suppose they'll take the opportunity to warm up in the dressing room.
Much has been made about the challenge that Neath will put up against the All Blacks. We've seen Cardiff, we've seen Pontypool, we've seen Swansea. Now, this Neath team, on paper at least, or thus far this season, has shown better performances than what we've seen from the other clubs. Is their challenge a realistic one then? Oh,
most certainly. They along with Neath, are probably the most powerful sides in Wales. But, you know, on this tour, we've seen the New Zealand forwards dominating the line-out. And I think it's going to be so critical today that Gareth Llewellyn and Mike Whitson, Pew and Mark Jones have got to challenge the All Blacks. Ian Jones has been magnificent on the two occasions he's played. And then you see, when they win the line-out, they go on this rolling maul, and they suck players in, and they set their back row up. So it's vital that Kevin Phillips throws in well, that they get line-out possession.
We've seen Pontypool play, and their challenge was a rather slow one. Now, Neath tend to play it so much quicker than Pontypool would. Is that the secret of it all?
Yes, they play the game at 100 miles an hour. They don't let the opposition settle. They tear into them. And we see Kevin Phillips taking these short penalties, driving at the forward. But I think it's also vital today. There's a strong wind out there, and in Paul Thorburn, he's a guy that can kick 60 or 70 metres. So I think you have to vary his game to save his forwards. But he's an experienced captain. He'll do very well.
We never really give New Zealand three-quarters any credit. We're always talking about all black forwards. These are something of a surprise, though.
Well, yes, I think my admiration for Joe Stanley is very, very high indeed. I think he's probably, along with Sella, the best centre in the world. So many things happen off Stanley, and I know that Walter Little enjoyed playing with him at Pontypool. So on the big winger, Tigamala, I'm looking forward to this exciting back division.
So Gary Wetton leads out with the All Blacks then. And what a change it makes for the local supporters to see the visitors run onto the field clad in the local traditional colours. A first taste for the All Blacks of the Knoll in 1989. And out comes Kevin Phillips on yet another strange sight for the local supporters, because here are Wales's All Blacks clad in white with a black hoop. And already the chant of Neath comes up. Captain Kevin Phillips, the man in charge of this local side today. So we've heard the anthems being sung. There's only one more little preliminary to go through, and that, of course, is the feared haka. Supporters trying to drown that haka. The Neath team in a circle, huddled in a circle, their backs to that haka. And interesting that Neath will kick off, which means probably that Kevin Phillips won the toss and decided not to allow the All Blacks the chance of the initial roll. First glimpse then of Paul Thorburn, and just there, clad in red, is England's leading referee in Fred Howard. It's Fred Howard that asks of the opposition. It's Paul Thorburn that starts for Neath. Already a scrum, then the ball not travelling the initial 10 yards, and not for the first time on tour, Phil Bennett, we see that skill not quite up to the mark.
No, that's a skill which the forwards appreciate very much. They like that ball to hang there to give them a chance to get into the opposition. Unfortunately, Paul Thorburn didn't put it to 10 metres.
First scrum, and the All Black scrum very firm. Space for Gallagher then. Tugamala comes on the inside burst. What a strong man this winger is. He's still going. The All Blacks win it into midfield. Little checks back inside. In support is Botica, but taken out. Good tackling by Neath. And tremendous surge right from the outset from the All Blacks. And just a little injury. Far side of the field, we saw Tuigamala. Play goes on. And surprising for the All Blacks to hold it at a scrum situation. Normally it's delivered so quickly. Quick look then at Kevin Phillips there in the middle of the Neath front row. All sorts of attacking options up in here as Bashett goes blindside. But again, the scrum power. But the referee penalises the All Blacks.
And that was a welcome relief for the for Neath, because they were pushing, the All Blacks were pushing Neath way back towards the line. Good scrimmaging by the New Zealand All Blacks.
This is Paul Thorburn then. Wales' captain last season. The points machine in the Neath team. And Tuigamala, the right winger, having had just the one run thus far, is already leaving the field. He is being taken off the field. So what a blow for the All Blacks, because with John Kirwan already injured, now the second winger injured, it means that they'll struggle to fill that position. Fitzpatrick aims at this line out. Basham to Botica. A lovely little pass into space. Straight into it comes Little. Basham just a little slow and quickly engulfed by Neath forwards. And Neath take that off the opposition, and they run it wide. This is Edmonds. And the crowd suddenly voice their feelings, because they delighted with that mauling to start with, which won possession off the opposition, and then that little run and kick ahead.
Good play by Neath, because they used that left-hand side of Edmonds, knowing that the New Zealand winger, Tuigamala, was off the field.
So on comes Craig, or he had thoughts of coming on, Craig Innes, who played on the wing against Swansea on Saturday, no stranger then to the right wing role. Finally allowed on the field. But play goes on. That's Earl that wins that. Basham, the tester for Alan Edmonds. Botica so quickly there. Edmonds does remarkably well. Thorburn as well. Well collected by Gallagher. He'll put it straight back from where it came. But that will run too far. John Gallagher, the All Black fullback. So the breeze at the back of the All Blacks at the moment. As Thorburn will restart into the wind, the ball should hold. That's perfectly placed. But the ball just scrambles away.
Sorry about that.
The two numbers 7 at the back there. Henderson for the All Blacks. Morris for Neath. This is Sean Fitzpatrick, the All Black hooker. Brooke got fingers first of all to it, then Henderson's the man that got it back, but the referee not happy with holding back as the Neath players try to get through in that loose tap down.
And this will be interesting to see what Kevin Phillips does. Does he go for the short penalty? No, he's saying to Thorburn, let's settle it down, put it 30-40 metres.
It's Thorburn again then, and interesting that Neath have kept their heads. They haven't been overawed by it all. They could have so easily gone off at 100 miles an hour and soon blown up, but they're taking it very steadily indeed. Fitzpatrick aims at Jones. A young lock, two-handed, perfectly done. Again, that's the tight drive. But again, Neath have stemmed that and have taken it off them. And again, the crowd delighted. This is Paul Williams, the outside half. That will test Gallagher. Perfectly placed, dumped by Morris, loose, quickly through. Is Leahy, back to his Henderson. And Paul Thorburn from somewhere drives into that ruck from full back. Well, over enthusiasm perhaps, sighting that try line and just yielding a penalty.
That was great mauling by Neath, because the All Blacks went in with the ball, but great play by Brian Williams. They ripped the ball out that maul. Perfect kick by Williams out at half, and that was the welcome that Gallagher didn't want after the Neath side bearing down on him.
Botica to clear his lines, and nicely done by the outside half. Now playing for the third successive time in that jersey. Kevin Phillips just passing on the signal to his scrum half, Chris Bridges. With Whitson jumping at 2. And Gareth Llewellyn in the middle. Mark Jones at the back. It's aimed at Jones. On the peel is Brian Williams. Bridges picks up. No, it's into midfield. This is Leahy. Checks inside. Zinzan Brook. And does his forwards a huge favour by staying on his feet, providing the platform as Phillips drives on. Past the first man. Sets back. Bridges. The high tester. Gallagher again sets himself. Well, just a little bit early. Over-enthusiastic again. But really, it is putting the All Blacks to the sword at the moment. And Brook has taken that quickly. And, well, Neath weren't 10 metres, but they could have been caught out there.
But that's unusual for the New Zealanders. They panicked a bit there. We had a number 8, Zinzan Brook, going to take the penalty. They usually give it to the outside half or the full-back to put it in touch safely.
So offered a second bite. Now it's Botica, the outside half, that has a chance to settle things just inside Neath's territory. So Botica, scorer of 17 points, already on tour, 13 of them against Swansea on Saturday. That's Mark Jones, record try-scoring forward here at the Knoll, 25 last season. And again, it's aimed at the back this time, though. Earl beats Jones to the ball and makes the initial drive. But again, there isn't that surge that we saw on Saturday, the rolling ball. This is Botica. Fires a huge kick downfield, which will carry too far. Well, he was disappointed with that because really he wanted to test Paul Thorburn. So it's not the buzzing Neath that we're used to. It's cold and calculating at the moment. Williams with a restart. Again, that offers his forwards a chance to get there, but it's New Zealand's advantage. This is Little, goes for the break. Well tackled by 3 Neath players there, and again they run away with it. Again, the crowd disappointed because they saw a chance for Kevin Phillips to counter-attack. But Fred Howard, the referee, had seen some indiscretion. Lots of options on that open side, lots of space as Basham goes for the gap, a huge gap. Gallagher on a lovely slanting run. What an angle from Gallagher. Tremendous try. Scored against Pontypool, scores again today, his second try of the tour.
Perfect ball. Basham had made the run, but look at Gallagher. He gave him the option. You see the cover was going on the outside. Gallagher came back inside, tremendously fast to full-back. Excellently played, and he's over. That's a superb try. Just look here, excellent scrum ball. There's a neat pass, but look at the angle of Gallagher. There's a lovely dummy, but he gives Basham the choice. There I am, coming on your inside. It's slippery. The Neath defenders can't turn. John Gallagher, one of the fastest full-backs in the world. He's over. Superb try.
There he is. He'll be pleased with that as an early taster of things to come. Tremendously exciting, attacking fullback. Not taking on the kicking duties today, though, as he did in Pontypool. It'll be Botica's turn today. Successful at Swansea and successful with his first kick today. So 11 minutes gone, it's Neath 0, New Zealand 6. That's Tuigamala, the Samoan winger who has had to leave the field, the All Black right wing, the tracksuited doctor at his side. And so with Kerwin and Tuigamala out to the side for at least the next few matches, there's an open space on that right wing for someone of the talent of Craig Innes, who normally plays at centre. It's Paul Thorburn with a restart. Just a bit longer. It did hold up, not quite long enough, but tremendous driving by the Neath forwards. This is the All Blacks, untidily delivered to Basham. And indeed, in trouble is Botica. He will have handled that on the ground. He had been tackled. He refused to release. Phil Pugh was so quickly there, and that's why, after only 2 games, that he's an essential part of the Neath setup in a game of this sort of magnitude. Quickly there to tackle, and a penalty awarded to Neath.
I find this quite amazing. Kevin, quite right. There's the bottom, the outside half, body under pressure. Good play by Phil Pugh, and there's where I think the referee penalised 2 movements there with the Neath coming in over the top pile in.
So Kevin Phillips had thoughts of taking it quickly and taking on the All Black forwards, but someone persuaded him somewhere that perhaps Paul Thorburn could take a potted goal here, because really it's well within his range at some 20 metres. A man who already has 50 points to his credit this season for the club. A final look from Paul Thorburn. Strikes that, halves the New Zealand lead with that penalty goal. So at last, something realistic for the crowd to celebrate, and Neath have now 3 points, New Zealand 6. So already just 3 points the difference. Neath certainly taking the game to the opposition. The Botica wants the sand into midfield for the restart. Fred Howard, the referee, wanting them to perform that little act a bit quicker to get on with things. It does take up time. Joe Stanley just to the right of the kicker. It's Botica, the restart. Gareth Llewellyn got fingers to it. It's Phil Pugh that tidies up and turns and makes it available. This is Bridges, this is Paul Williams on the outside half. Under pressure from Ian Jones. Again, does things very nicely indeed. No over-ambition, just to get that ball upfield and to settle play. That's Andy Earl, flanker.
Interesting that Neath to put Mark Jones to the front of the liner to try and mark Gary Wetton.
Earl again that wins it, but not cleanly. Kevin Phillips looks for the little drive. It's open field. The pass to Martin Morris. What a tackle. Tremendous tackle by Henderson. This is Bishop. Botica tries to dummy his way through and sidestep. This is McDowell, the prop. That's more of a prop's pass, that, as Henderson tries to make something of that. Quickly there's Walter Little, but the referee back in midfield. Both sides just looking for those fringe drives. No room there as Morris tried to take on opposite number Henderson. Tremendous tackle from the Otago flanker. And a stern little word from Fred Howard, the referee. Both captains there listening, seemingly intently. Well, still holding the All Blacks away for a second as Kevin Phillips has words with his forwards. Gary Wetton from his position in the middle of that scrum, probably passing on a message as well.
And the same position as when the All Blacks scored a try earlier. Plenty of room on that narrow side.
Interesting that the All Blacks, despite a scrum in midfield, have both their centres left side, which means on the far side it really is an open space situation. Gallagher poised to enter as the front rows finally get to grips. Bash up again into that space on the right-hand side. Innes this time, checks inside so easily, he'll get there. Twice exactly, he hasn't placed it. Yes, says the referee. Innes feels that he hadn't placed it. But the referee has awarded the try out at that point where he saw Innes sliding in. He felt that he hadn't placed the ball down. He wanted to get round behind the posts. And yet again, they used that narrow side. A lovely pass and superb play by Gallagher. Drew the two men, and Innes just came off his right foot, beat Thorburn, all ends up. Nice little sidestep. Mark Jones can't get there. Let's look very carefully. The referee said that he had played down, but I think the wing was quite right. 7 points the difference then. Innes, this try. So this is the kick that faces Frano Botica. His most difficult so far this game. And, well, practice fails with that, but still, there's now a gap of 6 points between the two sides.
And the identical position as the last try, and again Bishop going on that side, goes to kick, but there's a lovely pass here, and just watch for Gallagher. Here he comes in, and there's the flick pass which takes 2 men out. Nice little play by Innes on the inside of Thorburn. Mark Jones is never going to catch the winger, and there's where the winger goes over for another great try.
Dropped restart then, as the try wasn't converted. Just a little bit too far again, as Bishop thinks of a run before running into Phil Pugh. This is good ball for Neath. Leahy looks for some blindside space. What a good tackle though. Still one on the retreat. This is Paul Williams. This will be angled for the corner. Right, as a former fullback anticipates that excellently, gets the pass away, and Gallagher does the rest.
But the one good feature of Neath this afternoon, that they've won a lot of more ball and ruck ball, and the one man who's been outstanding so far has been Phil Pugh.
Phil Pugh is that blonde-haired man at the back of that Neath lineout. That's Llewellyn who wins it. Good ball for Neath. This is Bateman on the short run, straight into Botica, delivers it back, but Williams wasn't quite ready for that, the prop forward. Bishop again then on a little run, has support inside, didn't quite see it quickly enough. Bridges does tremendously well, receives a punch for his efforts from Fitzpatrick as well. The referee maintains that the ball should have been released on the ground. There's a little word with Fitzpatrick as well. And it all ends with a penalty awarded to the All Blacks, but they'll attempt to kick it goal. That's the distance that faces Frano Botica. Already 19 points to his credit on tour. Joint top scorer with John Gallagher. Botica then with a chance to take the All Blacks to double figures, and does so with ease. Botica, his second successful kick of the game, and that opens up a 10-point gap. Fourth orbit again. And this is better, but still Wetton gets there first. But again, Basham, some indecision there. Little tries to make something of that. Henderson very quickly in support. McDowell looking for a point to come in and take control. And Botica finally under pressure from Morris and Williams. Henderson just slightly hurt at the bottom of that ruck. The New Zealand flanker just limping to the back of the line-out. As Phillips aims at Llewellyn again. Lovely two-handed stuff. This is Leahy, long pass, not well delivered. Higgs in trouble, they need to get up quickly. Awkward bounces, Thorburn slides through football style. Morris reclaims it. The ball just a little slippery. It's been a very wet morning here at Neath, and the effects there on the ball. Still Henderson feeling the effects of that earlier ruck. The play will go on with the All Blacks one man short of the line. Phil Pugh has gone into midfield for Neath, which means that they now have an extra man should they win the ball. and they do win it. Jones, the number 8, collects. And now then, Bridges, blindside, and then the high up and under from Williams. Fitzpatrick, the hooker, does remarkably well to fill in that little blindside role as Williams takes it on, but offsides of the referee.
And I'll tell you, there's no place for the faint-hearted out there. We've seen one of New Zealand go off, and there's another one going to go off there. Once the ball's on the floor, both sets of forwards are piling in with their feet.
So another sad sight for New Zealand. Their second man in this game to leave the field. Tuigamala has already gone, the right winger. Now it's the open side flank to Henderson, and he will be replaced, I would assume, by Mike Brewer. Two men from Otago. They play together for the provincial side. As Botica with a relieving kick. Just settles things just short of the halfway line. Disappointment for Henderson, a man who is challenging for a test spot. And that's Mike Brewer, man who scored 2 tries against Swansea on Saturday. That's the captain, Wetton. Llewellyn again gets hands to that, and he's done remarkably well as the All Blacks interfere. As Neath, tremendous tackle by Pugh. This is a chance for Neath to drive in, but again, the referee blows, and Jeremy Pugh shows him the ball. It had emerged, says Jeremy Pugh.
And I think Frano Botica is going to learn one lesson out there before long, that when he gets that ball, he can't afford to dodge around. He's got to put it 40-50 metres, because the Neath forwards are piling in on him.
And I think just a little bit of nonsense in the front rows. Jeremy Pugh, the recipient of a little knock, will require some treatment. Fred Howard in the middle of that is not the best place to be, because it's heated in there. But Gareth Llewellyn at the line-out. We've seen all the Welsh clubs struggle thus far during the tour, Phil, at line-out, but Gareth Llewellyn today has done remarkably well.
Yes, he's tapped it and caught it once and tapped it back twice, and at least he's given Neath possession. And he's up against Ian Jones, who is outstanding prospect in the second row, so it's great to see a young Welsh forward doing well.
Jeremy Pugh certainly won't want to leave the fray. 10 points the difference, but still early days as far as Neath are concerned.
And again, the feature, we see Zinzan Brooks standing off on the narrow side.
This is Mark Jones, the first chance we've seen him with ball in hand, going rather hastily infield. Purvis takes advantage, sets up the typical New Zealand drive. So Botica this time, the angled kick just across field and just away out of reach of Edmonds. So he's listened to Phil Bennett's advice, and but is taken quickly. But no, said the referee, he wasn't satisfied.
Well, the ball didn't go the 5 metres, but at least Neath are very alive. They're trying to keep the All Blacks thinking. That was good play by Alan Edmonds on a wing.
On this side, with the black headband, is Steve McDowell, the loose head prop forward of New Zealand. As Pugh stands off blindside. Interesting that Neath are doing to the All Blacks what they do to others. Taken quickly, this is Kevin Phillips. This is what we normally see from the Welsh All Blacks. So standing off is Mark Jones. He's made the initial ground, now he needs the support. It's on its way. Into midfield then, Leahy, a little chip kick from Bateman, the chase is from Higgs, but just out of space.
That's more like the Neath we are used to. Quick penalty taken by Phillips. Mark Jones always standing off and driving back at the heart of the New Zealand players, and then some good handling in the backs. It was perfect ball laid back here, and just watch this chip there. It's a beautiful chip by Bateman. Saw that the New Zealand All Blacks were so fast, put it behind them, but it runs into touch.
This is Fitzpatrick. It's Wetton takes it virtually unopposed. The timing perfect between he and Fitzpatrick, and the drive again. Well, a change of tactics then from the All Blacks. The tester for Thorburn collects the ball and Terry Wright at the same time. Brewer there as well, as Thorburn does remarkably well to stay on his feet. Still waiting for support. Finally goes to ground. And the referee whistles.
That was outstanding play by Paul Thorburn. He had 2 or 3 All Blacks coming down on him, but he showed his strength, showed his determination, and stayed on his feet.
And surprised to find the advantage is offered to the opposition. Just queries it from the referee, Fred Howard. Brooke, the early pickup and the drive. In midfield, Earl is the man that takes it on. See McDowell poised there, but a little bit of mishandling, but he's still out into midfield. Not a lovely pass, but the defence alert to it, driven back, and the referee again decides that the ball is being held on the ground, should have been released. Kevin Phillips takes it. The support is there in the shape of Edmonds. A little chip into space, and Craig Innes back there to cover it.
And we saw there that Bottiger put a suicide pass into midfield. I think Stanley took it. He may have got away with it at Pontypool Park. He won't get away with it all this afternoon.
You see a number 19 at the back of that New Zealand line. That's Mike Brewer. He's taken over from Paul Henderson. One again by Neath. Bridges had thoughts of a run into midfield. Finally allows Leahy to put in a diagonal kick. Straight at Gallagher though. At the full-back, such good hands despite the slippery weather, good anticipation, good positioning, and well executed.
And the crowd are very annoyed at what they thought was a late tackle on Colin Leahy in midfield. This explosive match, there's a lot of boots getting in there, and I think the referee has got to have some help from his touch judges.
That's Brian Williams, Pembrokeshire farmer. He'll enjoy this confrontation. Llewellyn jumping shorter this time, still gets it. Williams on the retreat, the help from Mark Jones. They still protect the ball. Can they now release it though? And Jeremy Pugh and McDowell, and this time the referee was there and decides that it was a retaliatory punch from Pugh, but it's taken quickly, and it's Pugh, but he's lost possession. Were they 10 metres though? That's the question as Wright starts on a little counter-attack. This is Thorburn again. Beautifully collected from Thorburn, but the kick perhaps. Well, it's landed infield, and Thorburn, oh well, that's a late tackle. The referee will have to make, yes. Well, Thorburn was taken way after he'd hacked that ball upfield. And I'm surprised the referee hasn't had a word.
Great play by Thorburn, took that catch and just looked for where the ball bounces. He thought he was going straight in, no, it stayed there. Follows up, and there's where Zinzambrook took him late.
But some reward then for Paul Thorburn for his pains. A chance to kick his second penalty goal of the game. Quite a distance, just over 40 metres. The man who scored 119 points for Wales, 53 to his credit for Neath in this opening month or so of the season. Paul Thorburn then. That's beautifully struck. Will it curl in? Yes, just hits the post. Ian Jones starts a counter-attack, gets it away to Wright. He hasn't found touch, it's to Thorburn. He'll hoist the return. This is putting pressure back. Llewellyn delivers to Pugh. He starts on a charge, collected by Purvis, laid back to Bridges, standing off is Jones. Straight down the middle goes the number 8. It's laid back, the charge is Neath's this time. Tremendous surge, this is Bridges. This is Williams, the long pass, Leahy. But Morris was there as the extra man, but fails to collect, and Innes collects Edmonds.
That was outstanding play by the Neath forwards. They drove in, Pugh was there. Mark Jones, he got another crack at him. Perfect ball, but unfortunately, sloppy handling, and the ball went astray.
Well, the best attack mounted by Neath so far in the game. Tremendous surge, forwards and backs again involved. The aim is at Mark Jones. This is Leahy again, but that wasn't straight. There's Paul Williams and Colin Leahy just having a little discussion. Bishop again, the tester, into midfield. Quickly there is Botica to pressurise it, gets it back as well. A little nudge forward, perhaps from Earl. Referee was there very quickly there. And the crowd just congratulating Fred Howard. They felt once or twice perhaps that he hasn't favoured Neath.
Yes, they're very partisan here at the Knoll, and they want their favourites to receive all the decisions.
Interesting lineup of the Neath three-quarters here. Jones picks up quickly, and again hits the first tackle. Should have released this, said the referee. You feel that he wasn't held. Well, Botica will attempt to kick a goal, despite the fact that it's 50 metres and over.
Mark Jones picking off at the back of the scrum. Good strength for the number 8, drives past. But there's where Mr. Howard seems to have said that he was held and should have released the ball, but I don't think he was tackled and put to ground.
Botica, 22 points to his credit on tour. Chance to make it 25. From 50 metres, Botica runs, strikes it. It's straight, but just short. Paul Williams very coolly waits for some All Black players to advance, and then Miners. A little discussion between he and Thorburn, who should restart.
And noticeably, Williams is slowing the game down. They're playing into a very strong breeze, and he's taking his time.
Takes that very quickly. What a good pass to Bateman. This is space for Bateman. Good pass. This is Martin Morris. Good tackle by Gallagher. Little starts on a run, but that was intentional knock-on, says the referee. Knocked down in the pass. So penalty to Neath.
Quick thinking by Neath there, and good support play by the flanker. Lovely play by Paul Williams, and just look how he gets that pass in there. Beautiful. Takes two defenders out, and fair play to Martin Morris. He's supporting like a good flanker. There he comes into play. Martin Morris. Good tackle by Gallagher.
In the meantime then, Thorburn has pushed Neath further upfield. It's Steve McDowell in the black headband with Captain Gary Wetton shouting orders just behind him. That's the signals clearly heard. Fitzpatrick aims at the middle, definitely in the middle. There was a lot of pushing. Wetton smiles and wonders what's going on at the line-out. Lots of pushing, lots of elbowing. So with 5 minutes to go to half-time, 10 points the difference between the two sides, and Botica again settles things in the Neath territory. Tremendous work again at the line-out. Really, he's having an outstanding day at the line-out. It's been the weakest facet of most club matches so far. As Wright puts the onus back on Neath to defend, and Paul Williams, excellently done by the fullback, by the outside half. Cool head.
And you can see at the front of the line there again, Mark Jones normally jumps the back. Number 8, he's gone down to mark Gary Wetton. He'll have to make sure he doesn't barge in and concede penalties.
Whitson at the front with hands aloft, just to make sure that the throw isn't low and flat. Forces Fitzpatrick to throw at the back, but it's well done by the All Blacks as Purvis comes round on the peel. And this, for the first time, we're seeing an All Black drive straight upfield. And again, it's being turned. And the effects of that dissipated, and Bishop too quickly round, says the referee, offside. Kevin Phillips will question that. They feel that he came through, but no doubts in the mind of referee Fred Howard. And another worry for the All Blacks, as outside half Frano Botica now goes down, receives treatment. And Gallagher will probably take over as place kicker. the man who scored 19 points against Pontypool, now comes into the frame as a place kicker here at Neath. So all Gallagher has to do is try and increase that margin between Neath and New Zealand. It's 10 points at the moment. He needs a successful penalty to increase it to 13. Botica claims he's fine. Gallagher then. But pulls that. Again, Williams taking all the time in the world to restart. We won't worry Neath that they're just 10 points adrift into this breeze. What a good restart. Collected by Phillips, the captain. Pugh there as well to support. But being driven back. Lovely little break though. This is Bridges, the scrum half. Good run into midfield then. This is Williams, the prop. Leahy looks for a gap. Tries to get past in his. Bateman checks back inside. Good support from Jeremy Pugh. Sets it back. Leahy starts on another run. Thorburn, what a lovely pass. Shovels it on. This gives Edmonds a chance. Past Wetton. Checks inside. Outside in his. Throws a speculative pass in field. But really tremendous counter-attacking from Neath. Taking on the All Blacks. Again, the two big men down at the front for Neath, with Whitson at 1, Mark Jones at 2, forcing the All Blacks again to throw high to the middle, but Wetton alert to that. Good captaincy, good example from Wetton.
Quite earlier, Neath can try and sneak a score before half-time. I wonder will they go for Llewellyn or Mark Jones at the back.
Llewellyn jumps high again, but it's won by the All Blacks. But the kick straight out of play, and a launching pad here then for Neath, because it's just 10 metres away or even less from that 22. That's the All Black 22 you see in the picture there. Phillips' advantage. Llewellyn wins it. Williams on the peel, but on the retreat. Sets it back though. Phillips retrieves, gets past one. This is Morris standing off. Starts on a drive. Neath now start on their rucking game. Bridges, Leahy. A little kick into space again will give Higgs a chance to chase, but just out of space.
And interestingly, that was started again from a lineup where Neath did better than we all expected. Gareth Llewellyn did very well again to win some good ball.
Leahy, again, he's been the tactical kicker in midfield for Neath. Just back on the other side of the field, the Neath flanker Phil Peel is just holding on to an injured ankle. Play will go on. Fitzpatrick, but again taken unopposed. Pugh not being there, Earl was able to take that unopposed. And referee as well penalising Neath for not being 10 metres. Botica recovered from his earlier injury. And as indeed, it is half-time as Fred Howard whistles. So having played into a stiffish breeze in the first half, the home side won't be displeased with that scoreline. It's Neath 3, New Zealand 13. Now then, Phil Bennett, it sets up a second half. I would have thought that this huge crowd here are keenly anticipating. Does it offer the home side a chance?
Oh, it most certainly does. They've got the breeze with them in the second half. They've tackled very well. The rucking has been ferocious with both sides, not too careful where they put their feet. But it's been outstanding display for me for Gareth Llewellyn, the young second row. He's won some great ball, which has enabled Bridges and his halfback Williams to put some testing ticks into Gallagher.
Well, of course, we are broadcasting live to New Zealand as well, a simultaneous broadcast this. With me is Keith Quinn, rugby commentator for Television New Zealand. Keith, how would people back in New Zealand have seen those first 40 minutes of this match?
Well, I've been telling them with my colleague Grant Nisbet, the emphasis is on the win being worth about 15 points. Now, New Zealand did not get a 15-point gap at half-time, so we're sitting over here a little bit worried, and I guess they will be at home as well. The other interesting thing, of course, is that the injury toll is mounting with two players off the field, Tuigamala and Henderson. But Bishop has been running very well in the first half, and that was the most emphatic run that he made in the half and on the tour, in fact. And wasn't that a lovely pass he gave inside to Gallagher to get the first break? And that was a surprise that they got through so easy through the Neath defence. But really, there have been very little other gaps. We were a bit surprised about the try to Innes. We thought that Innes didn't touch the ball down, was wanting to come in behind the post for another 2 points. And have a look at this. I'm not quite sure how long the replay will run on. But Innes didn't score the try. He didn't touch it down, and the referee didn't let him pick it up again and come on around behind the post. So that could be vital at the end of the game. As you see, he wanted to keep coming, and then he appeals to the referee. Hey, he's saying, hey, ref, let me go around behind the post.
Two lovely tries there, Keith, and looking at the All Blacks there must be one or two worries in that first half, especially with Tuigamala and Henderson going off.
Yeah, that's a real worry. The injury situation is as bad as I've can ever recall with the New Zealand team. So they're up into it now. Kevin Phillips and the boys, we know that they are a strong team finishing, so we're really looking forward to the second half.
Thank you, Keith Quinn. Back to Phil Bennett and Lynn Davis.
Yes, I'm sure that the locals here are rubbing their hands with glee, looking ahead to the second half. Kevin Phillips, a quick word with the referee, and really, it's not the place for faint hearts, the second half, Phil Bennett.
No, it's going to be a severe test of the New Zealanders. They've seen that Neath, when they go down to ground, they ruck ferociously, and they're winning good ball for their halfbacks. It's going to be a severe test of Botica, because we've seen he's a very good runner, but he's kicking into the breeze, and he'll have to keep the New Zealand pack going forward. As far as Neath are concerned, I think we'll see guys like Paul Thorburn using the breeze, putting his 16, 70 metres down the field.
Just question mark, we heard Keith Quinn talk about those two tries. The Neath defence looked remarkably suspect at those 2 points.
Yes, they were broken rather easily. Patch-up involved in the two tries, some lovely passing, but you're quite right, that once the first defence had been broken down, there was no cover there.
So we're back into midfield. The referee, Fred Howard, a final look, check at his watch. The All Black pack, do they know what confronts them in the final 40 minutes of this game? The fourth of the tour. Frano Botica restarts this game between New Zealand and Neath. He did offer his forwards a chance to get there, but Neath were alive to that and set it back. This is Mark Jones. What a good charge from the number 8, still going. 30 metres, now lays it back. Bridges waits, taken on the... This is Bridges. Now Neath turn to attack. Bateman, lovely gap, clean through, up to Gallagher, offers Edwards a chance, he'll get there. What a start to the second half, and look at Edwards' response. Pure delight. Wales' record try scorer last season, and a try against the All Blacks.
Just watch for this try. It's a truly magnificent one. Pride by the Neath forwards. They will not give bad ball. Whitson does well. And just watch for the burst by Mark Jones. He powers through the New Zealanders. They don't particularly want to know him. Look, nobody's wanted to tackle the big number 8. This is tremendous play, because look, he's taking number 10 and he's taking number 12. Sucking the midfield in from the All Blacks. Marvellous ball and great play by the backs. They say thank you to Mark Jones with a beautiful break by Bateman, and the timing is so important there. He's drawing Gallagher and he puts Headsman clear. A magnificent pass and a truly remarkable try for Neath.
So he'll be watching Thorburn as he prepares to convert that try. The script perfect for Thorburn. This is meat and drink to this man. The conversion from the touchline. Just 4 points the difference then.
And here we see the break in midfield. There's Bateman, the centre had gone across, he spots the gap, straightens it out beautifully. Look at him drawing Gallagher in, sucking him in. Slightly behind Edmonds, but he's not going to worry about that. The flying winger, Gallagher did no chance of catching him. That's a great try for Edmonds and Neath.
That man's 17th try of the season as Botica restarts. The All Blacks turn to counter-attack. This is Little.
We saw there again, look, the ball was coming back on the Neath side, and then mauling has been outstanding this afternoon. Sometimes they've taken the All Blacks down illegally, but they're still stopping that rolling maul.
That's where the heat is at the moment, in that front row. The tap from Fitzpatrick, the pick-up from Brook. Bashop, a little run, but no room, and running in front of the ball.
Good referee in there, Mr. Howard. He saw the obstruction, they would make him flying through.
Kevin Phillips had thoughts of keeping the kettle on the boil, but decides that a Thorburn kick downfield would be further punishment. What a kick from Thorburn. Look at the reaction of the Neath fullback.
And that's why Thorburn said to his captain, Ken Phillips, don't run it, let me put it down 80 metres, and that's another great kick. Neath are really on the boil, the All Blacks rattled.
Now then, the responsibility, and indeed he takes it very seriously, goes to his captain, goes to his scrum half, little committee meeting. That ball has to be delivered perfectly. Taken by Wetton. The captain again takes the responsibility. But Bashop, well, he's made a mess of that. And the referee decides that a little bit of this and that, half a dozen of one, but the advantage is Neath's.
And we saw that Bashop panicked under pressure there, and even the great All Black says they can be rattled.
Now then, will the Neath forwards go for the drive? Paul Williams has already been in to have a quick word with Mark Jones. Will Williams join in fact? This is Mark Jones. There's not much room there. It's laid back though, as Llewellyn retrieves. Thorburn has to come across. You keep the pressure on though. It's too far. So the weather here in Neath has responded to the big occasion. It rained heavily this morning, but it's been a pleasant afternoon. As Botica, perhaps he won't consider it pleasant at this point in time. Restarts. Through comes Ian Jones, the giant lock forward, perfectly laid back. Done to perfection by the All Blacks. Fred Howard again, a keen eye there just to see that some of the loose spooks going in there don't create too much damage. Just a reminder, 4 points the difference, and the backs of Neath at the moment. Look at those defensive Neath three-quarters there. Referee wants the ball replaced in the scrum. Brian Williams is 1 on this side. Purvis is 3 for the All Blacks. Brook is the man with the control. He looks for the drive, but straight into Martin Morris. Bashop then, All Blacks this time try and run it. But straight, early tackle from Edmonds. That was good anticipation. Left his own man, felt that he could take the ball, but still the All Blacks drive on. Tremendous driving.
That was good defensive play by Alan Edmonds. He saw the overlap and he came in and he took Gallagher man and ball.
Phil Pugh is the Neath number 6. It's Bashop having problems in the scrum, just to stand there solidly in front of him. And the chant in the background emerging from the sand is Neath, Neath. Neath back row step off early from that scrum. A tester for Thorburn. But All Black players in front of the ball, not 10 metres away as Thorburn collected that. Thorburn will want to repay that with interest. Quickly gets to the mark. Bashop got pleased. Well, not quite the centimetre kick of last time, but satisfaction for the Neath fullback. But again, off his side, a foothold in All Black territory. Well, that early score in the second half has certainly set with all the light. That's Whitson, the young Neath lock, again standing in the front of the line-out. And does that job very well to block the New Zealand throw. Williams looks for the shortest route, gets support from Pugh. He'll need to do the same thing, straight at the outside half, straight into Mark Jones. Lots of options open as Williams delivers. Blindside is Thorburn. Lovely little pass to Paul Williams. Just an ankle tap from Andy Earl. Still in play as Edmonds gets it inside to Williams, the prop forward. Still Neath drive on. Thorburn playing as a forward, lays it back. Mark Jones runs back into All Black strength. But, well, the referee decides again that it's on the floor and it mustn't be interfered with.
I wondered if Neath take the wrong option there. They'd won that ball, their backs were all ready for it, but Mark Jones went back in. But I tell you one thing, the Neath forwards are certainly on top.
Botica then, glad of a chance to drive this ball downfield, ease some pressure.
You see Neath had one perfect ball here, all the backs were realigned, but Jones went in there, went to ground, good tackle, and there you see Jeremy Pugh handling it over the top.
Martin Morris wins that again. Williams, the prop forward, makes the drive. Cleanly delivered though, and that gives the All Blacks a chance. But again, Bishop, very indecisive as Brook breaks away. But we've not seen a great deal of Zindan Brook, a man who's destined to take over from Wayne Shelford as number 8 to the All Blacks. But a quiet afternoon so far. The referee has offered a free kick to Neath as Kevin Phillips takes it and runs. The All Blacks slow in getting back out of the way. The referee takes no notice, allows play to go on. It's laid back again, delivered to Bridges. This is Paul Williams, taken late by Botica. The speculative kick. The referee had turned his back on Williams and will have missed a Botica leg charge.
And look very carefully here, the Neath forwards winning, great ball, out to Paul Williams, chip in, and I think he was taken late there.
Again, Neath win line-out possession. This is Leahy, just took his eye off the ball, needs to recover quickly. This is a chance for Botica, but the ball nudged forward. Well, Leahy, it's such good hands, normally. Paul Williams and he have a little conference. Could be that Leahy didn't expect that pass. There was something else called, another move perhaps. This is Bishop. Gallagher into the line. He just steadies. He's the cool influence behind. But that's straight into midfield from Thorburn, and the wind again carries it downfield. Walter Little with lots of time, and perhaps not necessary to minor that.
And now we see the pressure the All Blacks are under. Gallagher, normally one of the safest full-backs in the world, inside his 22, and he failed to find touch, and Thorburn put him right back to his own line.
And again the home chant greeting Botica as he prepares to restart. Neath claim it and reclaim it, but it's also untidy. Botica collects, and Brian Williams again, the Pembrokeshire farmer, really has had a field day. And again, the referee's decision greeted with jubilation by the home crowd. That's the Neath captain. Won't stay there very long on the ground, wants to get involved, sets the example here, and likewise his loose head prop forward, another farmer just across the border in Pembrokeshire from Cardiganshire, but building for themselves a reputation, something akin to that of Pontypool years ago.
Yes, the front row has been outstanding with Neath this afternoon. Williams, Phillips and Pugh, they've been far quicker than their New Zealand counterparts, keeping the ball alive and playing a very mobile game.
Well, serious faces. There's Grant Fox. He will be in action on Saturday, has had an injured head, or bit his tongue in training, in fact. But stern faces, they won't be enjoying this greatly. John Kerwin there, good to see him out of hospital, unable to follow the tour. Williams fractured his thumb about a fortnight ago. That's the difference, 4 points. So just saying about Williams, but he wouldn't miss this game for anything. As Jones picks up Bridges, the pressure kick. The ball again free. Williams the hack ahead. Back there is Whittle under pressure. Good skills from the centre. Tremendous skills. Down and up in one go. Then the sanctuary of the touchline. What a tremendous position for Neath. 5 metres away from the opposition try line. The advantage is theirs. Well, just fails to get control of that. Got fingers. And Bashop again hurriedly gets a kick away. Indecision in Neath's ranks there. Thorburn, will he attempt to drop kick at goal? No. Chips into space, and space there, lots of space. Thorburn the pick up, the support. Oh, Kevin Phillips wasn't ready for it. The captain would have been over and clear. What a tragedy for the home side.
Exactly, great play by Thorburn, chipped there beautifully, took the bounce and gave a try scoring pass to Phillips. Unfortunately for Neath, he dropped it.
So the All Blacks allowed off the hook. And the scrum disrupted slightly. Bashop makes no difference which foot, equally able. Signals with his three-quarters, they're intent on running it from here as well. That's the signal given. The aim is at the front to Whitson. All Blacks pinch that. But again, so indecisive, but little so strong. This man is a talented man. Really half a chance he needs, and handling on the ground by Neath.
And the crowd are incensed to that. They felt the little was tackled and played the ball off the ground. Just watch here, good play by the centre, scrappy ball, but he's very strong, very elusive, burst through, but Phil Pugh's been tackling ever so well. They get him, let's just look there, there's where I think he's taken down, and there's where he played it off the ground.
So in the meantime, Wattiker has moved play upfield. But really, most of the players being in New Zealand's half in this, the second half. The only try scored in this 15-minute period has been Neath's. Lovely stuff from Llewellyn. Williams to the other Williams from Bridges. What nice play. And this is a tester for Gallagher. Good tackle from Bateman. But good catch from Gallagher. Absolutely stone, rock solid. Kept his eye on the ball. And calls for the mark.
Gallagher again tapping down, well tidied up by Neath. And just watch the delightful play of Paul Williams. There's a lovely dummy, and again, and he puts up a perfect up and under. Magnificent Gary Owen. And just watch John Gallagher. Never took his eye off the ball. 2 feet on the ground. Great take.
And Gallagher, having been offered the second bite at it, then settles play. Just inside his own half. Llewellyn again wins it. Bridges fires to get it away, but does remarkably well to regain his footing and start off on a run. Pugh in support, the prop forward. So is Morris, the flanker. So is Williams, the other prop. It's Williams that drives on and get tremendous Neath rucking. This is Martin Morris. Half goes for the gap. This is the number 8, Mark Jones. Neath really at the moment running the show. And some feet in there from a Neath forward, which the referee will question or query, and just remind him that perhaps they should be kept a little tighter.
We heard Keith Quinn say before the game that the All Blacks were used to these muddy conditions, but I'll tell you one thing, the Neath forwards are 2 or 3 yards quicker to the ball than the All Blacks at the moment.
Fred Howard sensibly keeping the front rows apart whilst the ball is being retrieved. Finally Bridges arrives. That was slightly too quick perhaps. The Bridges wanted just a bit of control and expresses his opinion as well that his aim was to hoist the high up and under, and to do that he needed time. Still the All Blacks on the defensive as Fitzpatrick aims. Llewellyn wins for Neath. Again it's into midfield. The break from Williams. Laid back again perfectly. Williams plays Llewellyn plays scrum half this time. Bateman to Edmonds. The little check inside. The referee says no, that was no late tackle. Yes. Offers the mark. No. Has offered a mark to Terry Wright. Well covered by Wright.
Leahy did well to stay in his feet there. Cut back inside Edmonds. Just watch as he chipped it. I think he was already kicking the ball.
And Terry Wright, as a former fullback, well used to that situation. But good covering from the left winger, come right across field to cover that kick of Edmonds. Grewal is the man that won that, then steps off out of the fray, ready to watch any loose play. All Blacks try the tight drive. They're not in their usual scrum formation. Earl, Hansins and Brooks standing up, and that's very unusual as the crowd, and Roger Quitterton will step in here. The touch judge on this side will intervene, will call across Fred Howard, and the crowd certainly incensed by something they saw there.
There's so many boots been all over the place this afternoon that I think it's about time the touch judge got in there and started helping the referee.
English officials. The other man is Ian Bullowell on the far side. Roger Quitterton, well known to Welsh faces as an international referee. This is Andy Earl, who will receive a strict warning for a punch thrown, and this will offer Paul Thorburn a chance to kick it goal. What a moment then, a chance to cut the deficit to just a one point. That's the length of kick that faces Thorburn. You'll see that Neath 9, New Zealand 13, a message there to people back in Taranaki. Well, we've seen this man convert Edmonds' try from the touchline, and a man for the big occasion. This would send the Knoll into ruptures should Thorburn succeed. 40 metres of a kick from Thorburn. There's no doubting that. He turned his back on that as soon as he hit it. He had no doubts. And suddenly, this Knoll comes alive. It's just 1 point the difference. Well, there's no doubting Phil Bennett, who has the upper hand at this point in time.
Yes, there's only one team in it, really. Neath are so dominant. They're winning the line-outs. They're stopping the All Black maul from rolling. And really, I've talked about character of Welsh as this here. We'll now see what kind of character the All Blacks have.
Well, some of the Neath substitutes in the front row, quite happy with life as it is. Restart from Botica. Kevin Phillips, the captain, takes control. Wetton, the other captain, escapes the Neath grasp and helps the referee as well. All Blacks were going forward. The referee offers them the advantage at the scrum. And quickly into a huddle, the Neath players. The All Blacks have been restricted through injuries, Phil Bennett. they've had 2 replacements on the field. They won't want a third. And really, as the tour progresses and they continually lose the likes of Kerwin and Trigamala and Wetton and so on, it does pose problems.
Yes, and a very hard opportunity. Let's be fair, they're playing the best teams in Wales. Everyone is a hard game.
For the first time for quite some time, the All Blacks in Neath territory. This is Stanley. What vision from the man. Holds on to the ball. Offers Brewer the chance to come in support. This is the All Black surge. And it's their first attack of the second half, and they do it so well. Drive on, until finally to ground. Obvious from that, they've had a little chat and said, let's pull things together. Let's drive straight downfield.
And a similar sort of position where they scored their 2 tries earlier in the first half. Again, Gallagher on this narrow side.
Centre's far side. Brook comes this side. Basham. Gallagher, just a little bit of indecision. Gallagher retrieves. And Morris, well, hands went in over that, handling it on the ground. And it should have been left alone.
New Zealand again using the ploy of Zinsambrook, Basham and Gallagher. But see, they're under pressure now, and there's a bit of panic in there. Gallagher does well to recover, looking for support, coming down there. And here's where we see Matty Morris going over the top, number 7, killing the ball.
And again, we see Mike Brewer, who's a replacement on the field. The flanker receiving some treatment and doesn't look happy. Problems mounting for the All Black. This penalty awarded to them is crucial. They just lead by a point, and at the moment being put to the sword by Neath. This is the kick then that faces Frano Botica. 5 points to his credit already this match. A chance to increase that New Zealand lead. Yes, just holds its line and length and just creeps in on just inside the far upright. And for all that pressure of Neath, then no real rewards. They take this quickly through Thorburn, downfield, a huge gap, but it skips over the try line, over the dead ball line. But quickly thought by Neath, not allowing the All Blacks to enjoy the taste of that penalty success. Botica offers his forwards a chance to get there, but intercepted by Pugh, the prop. But over the touchline despite Basham's efforts. It's the man that really has to raise the tempo, pace of the game, lift the spirits of his team as well. Llewellyn, who's been a star line-out man today. Inside comes Leahy, straight down the middle. Standing off to space, Williams, little. And Gallagher, surprisingly for a man normally renowned for his coolness, just a fly hack at that, but Williams delicately done into that corner.
The half-backs of Neath, Bridges and Williams are playing expertly this afternoon. They're putting the ball in front of their forwards, giving them the card to get down there.
And Williams, just a quick word with his centres, wants someone to come on the straight run down the middle. Llewellyn dominates again. That's the long pass to Leahy. Takes the short option. Good tackle in midfield. And space here for the All Blacks as Botica kicks into space. Thorburn then has to hurry back. Time to pick up, and just finally pushed over the touchline by Botica. Tremendous tackle by Brewer in midfield to halt that Neath first. Phil Pugh, who's been very much in the fray this afternoon, the Neath flanker. The All Blacks seem to have steadied the ship, though they were rocking in the first quarter of an hour of the second half. Basham, there's no room that way, says Phil Pugh and Mark Jones. As Williams, the prop forward, he has space, gets it to Bridges, the inward slant, gets it to Edmonds, but Edmonds wanted to come inside, and what a shame. But again, tremendous mauling, Phil Bennett, from this Neath pack.
Yes, brilliant mauling by the Neath forwards. Williams had ripped it, given Bridges an option of a man each side. Should have taken advantage of that, but there's where it was a blatant forward pass.
Well, Bishop won't be over happy with things at the moment. Pressurised, he's been just a little bit indecisive. And indeed, Brook takes the pressure away from his scrum half as Thorburn attempts to drop kick at goal, which is watched by Gallagher as it skips over the dead ball line. But Thorburn wanting to keep play down that end of the field, not allowing the All Blacks to enter Neath territory. Tries to retrieve the other Pugh, Jeremy, then the referee decides that ball has gone forward.
But it's noticeable, you know, that Neath seem far fresher up front. They're a yard quicker than the All Blacks. They're winning the 50-50 ball.
Let's watch the tight marking, Neath three quarters there. Not allowing any space in which the All Blacks can develop attacks. Well, George Stanley is not happy with things. Really in some bother there. The play has to go on. Well, that's a very unusual sight to see an All Black in that state in midfield. And that's crooked, says the referee. A free kick awarded to Neath. As Paul Williams wants to get it into action as quickly as possible. His captain, Kevin Phillips, have gone on another track looking for it. Terry Wright says that it had been taken, and indeed it's a scrum. Well, what disappointment for the home side. Some indecision.
And a minute ago we saw Joe Stanley being thick in the middle, but he soon spotted that and was quick enough to run there.
Pugh has gone off on the blind side, Morris on the open side, but still Mike Brewer is able to drive upfield. The pass well directed by Bishop, although Stanley then looks for a little break before chipping. Back there's Bateman. Delivers to Thorburn. He stands his ground and the pressure from Innes. The rest of the New Zealand forwards arrive. Neath on the retreat. They win that on the retreat. Amazing stuff by Neath. Delivered back. This is Whitson. Knocked forward knocked back by New Zealander, and finally out of play. Untidily done at the end of it all. But again, we see the strength of the Neath forwards. Once it's in a top situation, they somehow are able to release that ball. Again, the Neath back row detached very quickly. Stanley with a pass to Wright. Lovely little play off the ball from Gallagher. Finds that space, collects the ball. Running off the ball is Little. This man is strong as well as talented. This is Brook coming inside. Botica. Finally, though, to ground.
I said earlier on this would be a test of the New Zealand character. They certainly raised their game there. I think they need a score to be more comfortable, because Neath are really on the boil.
Again, Morris and Jones detach. Bridges also comes across to block up midfield as Brook tries the surge. Bishop again, the indifferent pass into midfield. And this is the tester from Botica. Well, he bounces free. Some confusion late. He wasn't sure whether he was onside or not. It's McDowell that sets it up. Delivered to Bishop. Lots of spaces. Little takes it. Room for Innes with Gallagher on the outside. A try for the fullback. His second. And that's the class of the All Blacks. They've really been on the rack for most of the second half, yet they're still able to mount attacks, and once they sent the opposition try line, they score tries, and this time through that man, Gallagher.
Well, they did show character, some good driving in by the back row, but it's a perfect kick. Look, they're moving the ball after they'd won the maul and ruck. Lovely time pass, and there's Gallagher. Easy, simple job, and he's over in the corner.
That's the fullback. His second try of the game. Scored a try in Pontypool as well, so his third of the tour. He's now scored 27 points on tour. So this is right from the extreme right-hand side of the field for Botica. Successful with one conversion already, the previous Gallagher try. He strikes that into the breeze, not quite the strength.
And there's Botica putting the high kick in, and it's hanging into the breeze. Really, nobody could take it, and good play there. Leahy thought he would have been offside. Good pride by the All Blacks, went down in the ball, setting it up for their forwards. Basham again, he was in the favoured narrow side, and a lovely time pass. There's Gallagher waiting, and the fullback's over. Well worked try.
So the restart was long and over the dead ball line, which brings us back to the 22 and a New Zealand restart. Well collected by Neath, well protected as well. Peel just looking to see whether there's an option. It's delivered though to Morris on the blind side. The flanker goes for a drive, well supported again by Captain Phillips. Williams there, so is Phil Pugh, the flanker. It's on its way back. Mark Jones, the number 8 there. Charges on. Bateman helps, and killing on the ground, says the referee. Points a finger at Sean Fitzpatrick.
And here's a vital decision for Kevin Phillips here. Does he go for the 3 points, or does he want to play the game at a fast pace?
Decides that 3 points will do nicely, should Paul Thorburn succeed with this. Paul Thorburn, who's already converted a try from the touchline kick to 40-metre penalty. Chance to cut the deficit to 5. Yes, yet another success for Thorburn. Full back in fine form. So 5 points the difference then. Wayne Shelford looks rather concerned. So the All Blacks have 5 minutes in which to hold on. 5 points the difference. They need to keep the ball down in Neath territory. Need to win this on the retreat. It's on its way as Bridges burrows, but not quickly enough, says the referee.
That's a big decision there. Mr. Howard said that New Zealand were going forward. I think Neath felt that they were winning possession.
Just a little reluctance on the part of the New Zealand front row to go down into that scrum.
And in these last few minutes, I would think the back row will want to take up the ball.
Brooke is positioned between the lock and the flanker. watch that Brook positioning again. He'll look for the quick picket. But this time, for the first time in the game, you see the New Zealand scrum take advantage. Finally spoilt by Neath. Bishop, not risking anything. Put the pressure on Neath. Again, they mount a drive. They all collect. They all get together. And then once they're ready, once everyone's in position, it's a straight drive.
Again, that was from a high kick by Bottega, which hung in the wind and gave the Neath defenders no chance to get under the ball.
So Neath, having performed so well, having got so close at one stage, put real pressure on these All Blacks. Now find themselves defending just a metre short of the try line. And again, the New Zealand scrum confident enough to take on. Brook scores. And at the death, the All Blacks in the crowd. Relief at last, having worried as Neath built up a tremendous concerted drive. Finally yield a try to that man, Zinzan Brook.
I asked if they had character and nerve. They've certainly got character and nerve. Great scrimmaging, Zinzan Brook, and he's over for the try.
So scores a try, his first try of the tour. This is Bottega. And further success for the outer half. So, with minutes remaining of the game, 11 points is the difference between the two sides. As we enter the final minute, then have Neath anything left on offer, having put up such a tremendous fight. Just an inch too long. So we're into injury time as Neath have to retreat to that scrum on the halfway line. They'd have loved a little bit of momentum from that restart. Sean Fitzpatrick again, the front rows, New Zealand front row not ready to go down, as Fitzpatrick explains. And he signals to Bishop. This is Bottega, long pass to right. This man has pace. On the loop is little, but not quite the hands on that occasion. Neath have little option here but to make full use of this possession. Into midfield then, little space for Leite, but the kick aimed too close to the touchline perhaps, needed to be in space. They'd like more options there, just going across field rather than straight down. Beautifully done. This is Little again, takes on the opposition defence. As Brian Williams mounts a Neath attack. Now they need to get together as Wetton takes Bridges without the ball perhaps. The referee decides the ball had been nudged forward. The crowd certainly don't agree.
I don't think Mr. Howard is the most popular man in the Knoll this afternoon.
Fred Howard whistles. That's the final whistle. whistle. Neath having mounted a tremendous fight back here early on in the second half. At the end of the day, go down to the touring All Blacks in their 4th game of the tour. The final scoreline, Neath 15, New Zealand 26. So Phil Bennett, we expected so much of this Neath team, and really the fight from them, especially early in the second half, was a tremendous one.
It was a magnificent performance with the full 15 deserving credit, but I thought the forwards were quite outstanding this afternoon. The front row, Williams, Phillips and Pugh, they ripped the ball in the maul. They were far faster than their New Zealand counterparts. The back row, Phil Pugh, did some great tackling. Mark Jones, some marvellous charges, but for me, the man of the match, Gareth Llewellyn in the second row. If there was a chance of this man playing for Wales today, he must have clinched it. 20 years of age, what a prospect. He was quite magnificent. He took the New Zealanders to the clean-out and the line-outs.
We had that try early in the second half, and we expected great things from Neath at that point. They put up a tremendous amount of pressure on New Zealand, couldn't quite score the points though.
Do you know, we can go back to Swansea last Saturday. They were inside the New Zealand 22 for long periods. So in Neath today, they had them on the rack, but I always keep on saying it's a very high level of standard you're playing here, and you have to turn your pressure into points. Unfortunately, Neath dropped a few passes this afternoon, crucial passes.
So here then, it's been 26-15 to the All Blacks, down on touchline, and talking to some of the players is New Zealand TV's Keith Quinn.
Okay, Alex Wiley. Bit of a scene here at the end of the game, Alex. Players coming through. What was you think of that, Alex? Tough game.
Oh, it was a very hard game, and it's what we've been saying all along, that for them, it's a one-off game for them for the year. They're giving it heaps, and you know, we're finding it hard. But all credit to them. Our fellas still came through, and if you look at the scoreboard, we're in front.
So a tough game and a good win for the All Blacks.
A very good one.
Alex, thanks very much. Let's talk to Gary Wetton, the captain. Gary, what did you think of that one? That was a really tough game.
Oh yeah, they're all tough over here, Keith. We won, that's all that counts, and we're happy with that.
Amazing scenes down here. They really give it the crowd really give it heaps, don't they?
Well, obviously, you know, they've lost in the game back out for a victory lap, so I'd hate to see it when they do win. Maybe it's because they haven't done it too often, but we're happy with our win and we'll take it further yet.
Okay, Gary, what was the story with the 2 injuries there? A bit of bad luck there for Henderson and Inga.
Yeah, well, I didn't know that Turmagale had gone off, actually. All of a sudden I saw Craig and scoring a try. And I'm not sure with what's happened to Ginge yet either, but it's a hard tour over here, but I'm sure they'll bounce back.
Nice to get another victory. Well done, Gary. Alex,
Okay.
what do you know about the other injuries?
Well, Inga's got a sprained ankle. Paul Henderson could be a wee bit more serious with ligaments, but we'll wait and see. There'll be a specialist to have a look at him.
Okay, there you are. Thank you very much, Alex Wiley.
Yeah,
We're just hoping for someone from the team, but I think they've gone on a victory lap around the track, so maybe we'll talk to them later. Thanks very much.
So as the Neath team take a lap of honour, just to give some taste of some success to the crowd, just to show their appreciation. Phil Bennett, of course, this now sets up another big day, which is Saturday. The All Blacks will have been trouble today, though.
Oh yes, they looked slow today. Whether it was the Neath pack were quite outstanding. It's amazing that Kevin Phillips going on his lap of honour, and yet they've lost 4 tries to 1. But maybe they deserve the accolade. But with all these injuries coming, you know, losing vital men, it's got to be worrying for the management of the New Zealanders. And I'm sure Neath, who would have been spying in this match today, would have taken a great deal of comfort out of it.
Will the All Black management be now pretty certain of what their test team is?
I would think so, really, because I think they need to get now. We saw Ian Jones, who's been quite outstanding in the other games, but when the pressure was on today, he disappeared in the second half. Young Llewellyn took him to the cleaners, so I think they'll go back and get your Pearces, your Wettons, your Shelford back in the back row, and really I think they'll go for experience. It'll be interesting to see what kind of side they pick for Saturday.
And of course the Welsh selectors then on Saturday evening sit down, and they've got all these games as a marker to the talent they've got at hand. What problems have they now got in their hands?
I think they're in the good position of having so many players to pick from. When they lost to Bridgend, we were all down in the dumps. But after Swansea's magnificent display on Saturday, after this great display by Neath, there are so many forwards. I think we could pick half the Neath pack and half the Swansea pack, and they would do themselves justice.
But are there patterns emerging as well as to how Wales will have to play the game?
I think so, really. I think obviously you have to take them on up front, and I think you have to have men who can win the ball in the line-out.
And so here with the crowd just leaving the knoll, can we just see what has been the highlight of the day as far as the home supporters are concerned?
And this was a marvellous try, a beautiful break by Bateman. And look, you see, he doesn't pass the ball. Good slightly across field, but he's all the time he's sucking in number 50. Look at him, taking him in, and he gave Alan Edmonds that vital half a yard, Gallagher tries to get at him, but that was a truly great try.
The trouble for them, there was jubilation at that point. It did seem as if they had things in hand, couldn't quite drive home that final nail.
No, the odd pass went astray, the odd forward pass, the kicking went a bit too far, but I'm not taking anything away. 26-15, it doesn't do justice to the Neath performance. They'll be very proud this afternoon.
And of course, they had that man in Paul Thorburn, that conversion of his, the couple of penalties, they were high class.
Paul Thorburn, outstanding all afternoon, never dropped a high ball, and of course, when he's on song, there's no better kicker in world rugby.
So here then, with New Zealand having scored 26 points, Botica kicked 8 of them. There were 4 tries, 2 to Gallagher, 1 each to the replacement Innes and to number 8 Brook. And Neath's reply was Thorburn, 11 points through penalties and a conversion of an Edmonds try. And that, for the Neath side, was the highlight of the day. But at the end of the day, the victory is to the team whose flag flies there, the All Blacks. They won at the end of the day. It was Neath 15, New Zealand 26.
So absolutely amazing scenes here at the Knoll. I think it's going to take a long time before this home crowd goes back home. But there it is, the All Blacks go on, this world machine, the world champions, very much on course with 2 more club matches to go. Llanelli on Saturday, but from the Knoll now, it's goodbye.
Which is the big arrows? This one. 6 overs? 6 overs. 40 yards. Slowly, mate. Pair of teams, please. Single it. Big caveman today. Going down the mine. Find a bit of coal, maybe a little bit of gold. Texas tea.
Have you got your canary? Murray? Hey? Did you bring the canary?
Hey?
You can't go to Wales without going down a coal mine.
Bang, and there's no oxygen there. Or there's a lot of smoke there. You just whip that on. Clap it over your nose.
This thing here?
Yeah, it's only a purifier. It'll only help you if there's a certain amount of oxygen in the air. Very uncomfortable, but it will get you out.
And it helps if your manager's a West Coast miner.
See you later.
Off to my day's work, yep.
Yeah.
Neath is right in the middle of Welsh rugby territory, and the next game promises to be our toughest yet. Welsh champions last year, Neath really fancy their chances, and so do their supporters.
Neath will win, aren't they? It's obvious, isn't it?
Neath to win, yes.
You must be joking.
No, I'm not joking. No, Neath to win.
Paul Henderson won't have too many fond memories of Neath, for soon I wasn't going to be the only one on crutches. Actually, the ref, England's Fred Howard, well, he was pretty lucky he didn't get injured as well, because they certainly are fanatical about their rugby down here. Even the Neath coach, Ron Waldron, is caught up with the atmosphere. The 2 different approaches to rugby are pretty well summed up by these pictures. On the All Black faces, it's a study in quiet determination. While the Welsh, well, they prefer a slightly more worked up approach. The All Blacks approach certainly gives us the better start.
Ball coming nicely for Bishop. Once again working the blind side. All Blacks dangerous out there. Flicks it up to Innes. Oh, left Thorburn for dead. Craig Innes. Oh, great try.
But then things take a sad turn. The tour ending for All Black number 7, Paul Henderson.
The ball went back to Walter. I just took off round behind him. Tried to secure the ball, and look, I'm sure someone coming from the side and just smacked me in the knee, and I knew straight away that it was fairly serious. Everyone fell down on top of me, and when I got up, It felt like there was a tennis ball growing inside the inside of my knee. So I just struggled to the line out and then tried to run again, and I knew I was finished then.
Second half begins here at the Knoll. New Zealand leading 13-3. Frano Botica kicks out. All Blacks playing into the wind. This is Mark Jones. Good run by him. They finally got him down. Bridges, Williams, Thorburn up. Bateman through. Edmonds. Oh, a glorious try by Alan Edmonds.
Neath continued to put the pressure on. That is until our attack is ready to strike.
Now the All Blacks running it wide. Little out to Innes. Must score here. Gallagher, and John Gallagher gets his second, and that's a big relief for the All Blacks. They might even try and push over. They seem to have the better of the scrums. Brook controlling it, still controlling it, and Zinzan Brook goes through and gets the try, which makes the game safe for the All Blacks. Zinzan Brook, with his 13th try in 13 games, holds the ball aloft.
So another All Black victory, 26-15. But things turned pretty ugly after the match, with the crowd taking out their frustrations on the ref. I mean, no one likes to lose, but someone has to.
We didn't want to lose a game. We didn't want to lose a game anywhere, especially in Wales. But leading into Neath this Saturday and then the test the following Saturday, it's important for our build-up. You know, some of the injuries aren't too pleasing. That's the game, I suppose.
He's a nice man. Yeah, he'd be a nicer man if he was ungrown and quartered.
Hey, about all right? Do you want to say hello to New Zealand?
Hello.
Well, here we are at the Knoll, the home of Neath Rugby, and just game's only been finished about half an hour now, and titanic struggle it was. As you can see, a lot of people are still hanging around. I think they're after the referee's blood, actually. I don't know why. I thought he'd do quite a good job, but that's how it goes.
The thing was, I was actually chatting to a few of the Neath boys afterwards. Well, you would as well. And they're not bad guys.
Nice guys.
You know, they're good guys, the Neath players themselves.
But
yeah,
yesterday, did you see that winner?
Oh, yeah.
That made me laugh.
You know, this guy was absolutely mad.
Yeah, he was a nutter.
He was an absolute nutter. Yeah.
What happened in that try, by the way?
Well, I think
it was 5 on 3. Yeah, Frano was in the ruck.
Frano and Walter got tied up in the ruck, and Walter got out a little bit late. And I think Joe thought Walter was going to get there, but he didn't. So Joe went out on his man, and Walter wasn't there in time, so the guy came through. Then I had the centre, who wasn't a bad guy, and the nutter.
Do you think they'd be better players if they weren't so fanatical when they run out? When they spend the first 20 minutes chasing after...
When I was watching the Swansea game, I was a dirty for the Swansea game, and I was just looking at one of the Swansea props, and he was jumping up and down, doing the pogo, you know, and waving his head around during the national anthem. And then when it finishes, he jumps up again, just runs straight into his other prop.